Once we cross into our 60s, many of us begin to notice that memory is not as quick as it used to be. There are those moments when we suddenly forget what we were about to say in mid-conversation, or we misplace our keys and cannot recall where we left them. These small lapses can bring a bigger worry: the fear of losing memory, mental sharpness, and independence. The good news is that science shows there are natural ways, right in the kitchen, that can support brain health and lower the risk of cognitive decline. Among them, two standout herbs are sage and rosemary. Long used in cooking, these herbs have also been studied for their unique compounds that benefit memory, improve focus, protect brain cells, and help keep the mind clear as we age. In today's video, we'll look at 4 key points. First, how sage supports memory and what mechanisms in the brain it works on. Second, the role of rosemary in boosting mental clarity. Third, how these two herbs may work together to create a combined protective effect for the brain. And finally, safe ways to use them so each of us can enjoy their benefits every day with peace of mind. If you find this topic useful, please like the video, share it with friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe so we can continue this journey of exploring natural health together. And I want to ask you one question. Which herb do you tend to use more in your cooking, sage or rosemary? Share your answer in the comments, because your experience might inspire many others to bring these simple, brain-friendly herbs into their own daily meals. In the world of herbs, sage has long been celebrated as a natural tonic for the mind. As far back as the Middle Ages, Europeans believed that this small, fragrant leaf could sharpen memory and even prolong life. What's fascinating is that modern science now confirms much of what people back then observed. Sage is rich in plant compounds, the most notable being rosmarinic acid and flavonoids. These work in 2 key ways. First, they help block the enzyme acetylcholinesterase, which normally breaks down acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is a vital messenger in the brain, essential for forming and preserving memory. By protecting acetylcholine, sage helps brain cells communicate more smoothly, keeping thoughts sharper and memories more reliable. This is the very same mechanism targeted by many Alzheimer's medications today, and yet sage manages to provide a natural version of that support. Second, sage is loaded with powerful antioxidants that protect brain cells against free radical damage. As we age, oxidative stress in the brain increases, slowly wearing down neurons. Sage acts like a biological shield, slowing this process and helping brain cells stay healthier for longer. Scientific studies have also supported these effects. One clinical trial published in the Journal of Clinical Pharmacology found that older adults who took sage extract for several weeks performed significantly better on memory and attention tests compared to those who didn't. This means sage doesn't just sound promising on paper. It shows up in real, everyday memory improvements. Picture this: a steaming bowl of chicken soup with fresh sage sprinkled on top. It doesn't just smell and taste good. It quietly nourishes your brain at the same time. Or imagine sipping a warm cup of sage tea on a cool evening. Beyond soothing the throat, it may also help you recall details more clearly and feel mentally alert. The beauty of sage is its simplicity. A teaspoon of dried leaves can be added to stews, roasts, or even salads. For tea lovers, just steep a few dried leaves in hot water for 5 minutes, and add a touch of honey if you'd like. The result is a drink that's both comforting and brain-friendly. Of course, safety matters. Culinary amounts of sage, whether in cooking or light tea, are perfectly safe for older adults. But concentrated extracts should be used with caution, especially for those on blood thinners or long-term medications. In those cases, it's best to talk to a doctor first. Sage reminds us that sometimes the most powerful tools for brain health are already waiting in the kitchen. Simple, accessible, and backed by science, it stands out as a natural golden key for memory protection. And when we talk about herbs for sharper thinking, we can't forget another familiar name: rosemary. If sage is often called the companion of memory, then rosemary has long been celebrated as a symbol of mental clarity. Back in ancient Greece, students would wear wreaths of rosemary during exams, believing that its fragrance could sharpen recall. Thousands of years later, modern science has confirmed that this ancient belief carries real biological truth. Rosemary contains a wealth of active compounds, most notably carnosic acid and rosmarinic acid. These compounds act as powerful antioxidants, protecting brain cells from damage caused by free radicals. Even more impressive, carnosic acid has been shown to trigger special defense pathways inside neurons, helping them withstand oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. Two key drivers behind memory decline. One study published in Therapeutic Advances in Psychopharmacology found that simply being exposed to the scent of rosemary improved short-term memory and information processing speed in adults. This explains why, in practice, diffusing a little rosemary essential oil in a room often leaves people feeling more alert, more focused, and able to recall information with greater ease. But rosemary's benefits are not limited to its fragrance. When included in meals, it helps boost blood flow to the brain, ensuring that neurons receive the oxygen and nutrients they need to function at their best. Some evidence even suggests that rosemary may slow the breakdown of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter vital for memory working in a way that parallels sage's protective mechanism. In everyday cooking, rosemary is one of the easiest herbs to use. Just a small sprig added to roasted vegetables, soups, or baked potatoes provides both its distinctive flavor and its brain-friendly compounds. On days when you need extra clarity, simply inhaling the aroma of rosemary oil can provide a natural lift. Imagine this: instead of reaching for another cup of coffee in the afternoon, you diffuse rosemary in your workspace. The sense of alertness it brings feels fresh and natural, and it won't interfere with your sleep the way caffeine often does. Another benefit worth noting is rosemary's gentle effect on mood. It has been shown to help ease mild tension and anxiety, creating a calmer mental state where focus and memory can thrive. This may be why many older adults say they feel both relaxed and mentally sharper when rosemary becomes part of their routine. Of course, rosemary is safe when used in culinary amounts, whether for cooking or light diffusion. But if someone wishes to use concentrated extracts or essential oils, especially while managing conditions like high blood pressure or blood clotting disorders, it's wise to consult a healthcare provider first. In short, rosemary is far more than just a fragrant addition to meals. It is a quiet ally that helps the brain stay sharp and resilient, particularly as we grow older. And what's even more exciting is that when rosemary is paired with sage, the two create a powerful synergy that offers the brain even greater protection. While sage and rosemary each have their own unique ways of supporting memory, together they create a remarkable synergy. It's similar to how exercise benefits both the heart and the muscles at the same time. Two strengths working side by side. In the same way, sage and rosemary complement one another to give the brain a more complete layer of protection. Both herbs are rich in polyphenols and antioxidants. These compounds work to neutralize free radicals, the silent troublemakers that speed up brain aging. When free radicals are kept in check, nerve cells suffer less damage, and memory as well as cognitive ability are better preserved over time. What makes this pairing even more effective is that the polyphenols in sage and rosemary differ in structure, meaning they can target a wider variety of free radicals. The result is more complete protection for the brain than either herb could provide alone. Beyond antioxidants, sage focuses on preserving acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter vital for memory. While rosemary shines in its ability to improve blood flow to the brain, when combined, the brain retains more of its essential chemical messengers, while also being nourished with a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients. This is why many experts consider sage and rosemary a golden duo for natural memory support. Think of a simple dinner roasted chicken seasoned with rosemary, paired with a warm vegetable soup sprinkled with a little sage. The flavors blend beautifully, aromatic, hearty, and satisfying, while at the same time delivering what you might call dual nutrition therapy for the brain. One herb helps maintain nerve signals, while the other enhances circulation and defends against oxidative stress. Together, they create balance so the brain can work more smoothly. Some smaller studies have observed encouraging results when multiple polyphenol-rich herbs are used together, noting reduced inflammation and better cognitive performance compared to single herbs alone. While more research is still needed, these early findings highlight the promise of using sage and rosemary side by side as part of a daily diet. The good news is that combining them is easy and practical. You might sip a gentle cup of sage tea in the morning, then season your lunch or dinner with rosemary. Or you can bring both into one dish like a stew, roasted potatoes, or a warm salad. When these habits become part of daily life, the brain benefits steadily over time, with no need for manufactured products. Even outside the kitchen, they can work together. Imagine diffusing rosemary essential oil in the living room to create alertness while enjoying a calming sage tea in the afternoon. The pairing of fragrance and flavor offers a full sensory experience that supports both relaxation and mental clarity. Of course, while both herbs are safe in culinary amounts, concentrated extracts or essential oils should be used carefully. People with conditions such as high blood pressure or clotting disorders should check with their doctor before using them regularly in strong doses. The goal is not to use as much as possible, but to maintain steady, sensible, and safe routines. When we talk about herbs like sage and rosemary, most of us immediately think of them as natural and safe. And that's true at culinary amounts, like adding a few leaves to a dish or brewing a mild cup of tea. Both herbs are considered safe for most people. But after 60, especially when chronic conditions or medications are involved, it's wise to use them with a little extra care. The first point to remember is dosage. For sage, 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried leaves a day, or a cup of tea steeped from 3 to 4 dried leaves, is a reasonable amount. For rosemary, a small sprig added to a roast or stew, or a light tea made from 1 teaspoon of dried leaves, is usually enough. At these levels, the beneficial compounds are absorbed in safe amounts, building long-term benefits without straining the body. Many people assume that natural means the more, the better. But science tells us the opposite. Too much can cause digestive upset, lower blood pressure, or even interact with prescription drugs. The second point is form. Sage and rosemary can be used fresh, dried, as tea, culinary seasoning, essential oils, or even concentrated extracts. The safest route is always in food or as a light tea. Essential oils are best limited to room diffusion for their aroma, not for drinking or direct skin use unless guided by a professional. As for capsules or high-dose extracts, those should only be taken with a doctor's approval, since the doses are far higher than what the body usually gets from food. Third, we need to consider drug interactions. This is especially important for older adults. Sage may influence blood pressure and blood sugar, so anyone being treated for hypertension or diabetes should monitor carefully. Rosemary, in some cases, may thin the blood slightly because of its anti-inflammatory properties, which means those taking blood thinners like warfarin should be cautious. These details may seem small, but overlooking them increases the risk of side effects. The fourth point is timing and consistency. Sage and rosemary are not miracle cures that work in a matter of days. Their effects are slow and steady, accumulating over time. The best approach is to weave them into daily habits: a sprig of rosemary in dinner, a gentle cup of sage tea in the afternoon, rather than taking large amounts for a short period and then stopping. Consistency, not intensity, is what brings safe, lasting results. It's also worth remembering that everyone's body reacts differently. When starting out, it's smart to begin with a small amount and notice how your body feels. If there's bloating, dizziness, or digestive discomfort, it's best to scale back or pause and consult a doctor. One more wise tip: think of sage and rosemary as partners within an overall lifestyle. No herb can make up for a poor diet or a sedentary life. They work best alongside a balanced diet rich in vegetables, healthy fats, and fish, plus regular exercise and good sleep. That's the foundation on which these herbs can shine. In other words, sage and rosemary are gentle companions on the journey to brain health. They don't replace medical treatment when it's needed, but they do offer safe, natural, and enjoyable support that can easily become part of daily life. Used the right way, they give us both flavor and protection without unnecessary worry. And now that we've explored their unique benefits, their combined power, and how to use them safely, it's time to close with a key message: memory after 60 can absolutely be nourished and protected. Starting with the simplest ingredients in our very own kitchens, we've just taken a journey through two familiar yet powerful herbs for memory: sage and rosemary. From sage's ability to preserve acetylcholine and keep nerve signals running smoothly, to rosemary's role in boosting blood flow to the brain and supporting mental clarity, it's clear that nature has given us simple but truly valuable tools. When combined, these herbs create a remarkable synergy, protecting brain cells from oxidative stress and chronic inflammation, while at the same time nourishing the mind with better blood flow and essential nutrients. The beauty is that we can easily bring them into daily life, whether through meals, a cup of tea, or even the gentle fragrance that fills a room. The key takeaway is this: protecting memory after 60 doesn't require complicated or distant solutions. Just small, steady habits using sage and rosemary regularly, paired with a balanced diet, quality sleep, and regular activity already provide a strong foundation for long-term brain health. If you found today's video helpful, be sure to hit like, share it so more people can benefit. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue this journey with us into natural health solutions. And let me ask you, between sage and rosemary, which one do you think you'd like to try first? Share your answer in the comments, because your choice might inspire many others to take that first step too.